What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the show. This is the Farzy show here at the Steven Singer Studios on a fine victory. When Victory Wednesday? That's weird to say. They have exercised the demons of a one Joe Webb. Thank you to the amazing Jalen Reagor. Jalen Hurts, definitely. Greg Ward, what? Everybody getting involved in this game plan. Everybody getting involved in this win for the Eagles last night on a beautiful edition of Tuesday Night Football. I could not be happier with how they bounced back in that game, considering how they started. We talked yesterday about me and John McMullen about like, hey, this is how it's going, or how it started, and this is how it's going. The Eagles, how it started, awful, horrible, gross. I'd never seen somebody drop a pass like that with Dallas Goedert, like somebody that good, and then kick it up in the air. I've seen balls, kicked up into the air before and caught by the player, but like that guy's really good, and that ball was right on the hands, and there was nobody around him, and he dropped it, kicked it back to the defensive back that was felt like 10 yards behind him. He caught it, Landon Collins caught it, and then he couldn't rate it back for a pick six. So when you think about it, even though the Eagles caught a bad break, they also caught a really good break in that whole other thing. So then after that, you see Jalen Hurts fumbles the football, bad ball security. Next thing you know, before you blink, you're down 10-0 to the Washington football team, who just happened to have Garrett Gilbert as their starting quarterback. Garrett Gilbert as their starting quarterback. You're down 10-0 because you gave them the football twice. One time with really good field position. Well, really the other time with really good field position too, because they ran the fumble back from Jalen Hurts to a good spot on the field as well. So that's not exactly making you feel warm and fuzzy about the Eagles actually winning this game. And I think we all thought the same thing, especially when you saw Jalen Hurts not look very accurate in this game in particular. Did not start out well for him at all. So you're watching this game, and you're thinking, Joe Webb, you're thinking, oh, God, don't be that game, because we've already had that game. We've already watched this team play that game, and that was the game they played against the Giants 2 games before they went on their bye week, before obviously they took care of business against the Jets. Don't be that game. Don't be that game. We've already seen that game. And all the credit in the world, Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Reagor, Greg Ward, Devontae Smith, the Eagles' offensive line as a whole, Miles Sanders, unbelievable offensive performance by this Eagles football team when it comes to how they responded after the first 2 turnovers of the game. Absolutely incredible. I was really worried in the early goings, as a lot of people were, and I'll be honest, if there was a button, right, if there was a big red button that was the Gardner Minshew button, and there was a cap on the button, I had my hand near the cap. I hadn't removed the cap yet. It was like ready to no, I wasn't doing that. No. It was still covered, but I was like, where did I put that button? Oh, there's the panic button. There's the Minshew Mania button. There it is. Just get ready. Not gonna open it yet. Not gonna open it. But that's the way it felt towards the end of the second quarter, even. Because even though the Eagles had started to come back and they tied the game by halftime, they were 10-10 going into halftime. The one play that kind of really rubbed me the wrong way from Jalen Hurts, other than the fumble, which is the obvious one, was the throw in double coverage before the Eagles ended up taking the field goal to Devontae Smith in the corner of the end zone. Huh? Look, I'm not about to bang the drum for Kenny Gainwell, like he should be the marquee target or anything like that, so don't take this wrong way. But in that situation, 3rd down, you look up, you see double coverage. I'm not, much as I love Devontae Smith, I'm not throwing that ball in that direction. I have Kenny Gainwell on a slant route going into the end zone, and he's wide open. That was the easier throw and the easier play to make. And for whatever reason, Jalen Hurts decided not to do that. So you can look at the obvious miscue, the fumble. You can even make an argument about Dallas Goedert going up to catch that one football, about a 40-yard gain where he went up after Jalen Hurts threw it in the double coverage. Dallas Goedert went up there, grabbed it, basically became the defensive back, was aggressive in that game and aggressive in that play, and he made the play for his quarterback. That was great. A bit ill-advised, and maybe if that ball's picked off, you're removing the cap off the Minshew Mania button before you hit that. But Dallas Goedert went up and he made that play. Didn't make the play earlier, had a drop, had another drop later in the game, but that was one play that you could definitely look at and say he made that play for his quarterback. Another great play that was made was the Greg Ward touchdown that kind of sealed the game. You started to feel like, should the Eagles have gone for it on that 4th and 1? Or should they have kicked the field goal? I was all about just taking the field goal. Hey, take your chances with this defense against Gilbert and see how you do. Turns out, and then ended up biting him in the butt a little bit because they pulled it within 3 again. Eagles came right back, marched down the field. Jalen Hurts moved him down the field. Jalen Reagor had a good play running down the field. You also had Greg Ward make that touchdown catch. Or excuse me, Stahl also came up with a catch that he got hurt on, unfortunately. But basically that drive went 60 yards with Stahl catching a football for 7 yards. Then you had a Jalen Reagor catch for about 30. And then you had Greg Ward cap it off on a 19-yard touchdown run or touchdown catch. That was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And then just the way you drew it up. All right, just the way you drew it up. No problem. So the Eagles, although they struggled mightily in the early goings of this game, they did something that they needed to do, which was obviously win to keep their playoff chances alive, their playoff hopes alive. Right now, 7-7, along with the Minnesota Vikings and the New Orleans Saints. And the Eagles hold the tiebreak over the Saints with head-to-head battle, obviously. But this is a game that I was worried about a bit of a reset. Jalen Hurts needed to come out here and squash any idea that you would go to Gardner Minshew at any point. And I feel like he did that in this game. He absolutely did that in this game. That's what he needed to do. The Eagles also beat a team that was far inferior to them. Now, I'm not saying a Washington football team overall, maybe in 2 weeks when you play them again, or less than 2 weeks when you play them again, they're going to be just as bad as they were in this particular game last night. I highly doubt that. I believe they even told the story when we were in the broadcast last night with Marc Sanchez, a part of the broadcast, by the way, where Gilbert was out there giving his daughter a bath. Is that what he was doing? And his wife said, you got a couple of missed calls here, honey. And it was Washington saying, you're off the practice squad. You're playing. Let's go. And he did. So he was kind of all of a sudden thrown into the game. I don't think the Washington football team are going to be this bad the second time around. It could be. Let's hope they are. But the Eagles did what they needed to do when they played down to their opponent in the early goings of this game. Some freak mistakes. I didn't realize it was actually a Washington football fan I don't want to say arguing with, but I said maybe let's not. This is what I said on Twitter. Maybe let's not give the team that already got the biggest break and not having to forfeit more opportunities to hurt you. Maybe stop giving them breaks throughout this game. The Goddard drop and the Hurts fumble. And somebody was like, I think they're taking it away. They're not really being given the football. And I'm like, no, they're kind of being given the football. When you kick a ball off your heel directly into the chest of a defensive back who was already beaten badly on the play, that's a giveaway. When Jalen Hurts is one-handing the football, trying to fight his way through traffic, that's a giveaway more than it is a takeaway per se. Good sir. And the Eagles bounce back from it all. We're going to let you hear. We were in our post-game news conference report brought to you by Rothman Orthopaedics, all the things that Nick Sirianni had to say about this win, what he had to say about the extra 2 days off, what he had to say about his quarterback. We'll let you hear from Jalen Hurts, what he had to say about this victory and what it meant for this team. And we'll also let you see Dallas Goedert, because that is one goofy SOB. I love that guy. And if you didn't see what he was wearing after the game, it's worth a peek coming up in a little bit. But overall, I really wanted to see Jalen Hurts squash any idea that if there's any other struggles going on for the rest of this season, I wanted him to reinstate himself as the unquestioned, undisputed starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. He did that after struggling early in this game. And I was getting text messages. Oh, yeah, Jalen Hurts, not a starting quarterback. Jalen Hurts, not an NFL quarterback. And I'm like, I think you have that confused. I think that Gilbert is not a starting NFL quarterback, although he made a couple of throws. Few and far between, but he made a couple of throws. So that was a great thing to watch last night and how the Eagles were able to come back in this game. Absolutely loved it. And this is the type of resiliency you needed to show if you're a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. Another thing that has to be brought up here. I don't... Jason Kelce, I'm convinced, and maybe this is just me watching Greek mythology on Amazon Prime, but maybe he's a demigod. I think I've put my finger on it. He's a demigod. That's how it is. Not a full god. Like, what do they say in the movie Groundhog Day? He's not God, but he's a god, that type of thing. He's a demigod. I think that's what he is. Like, Somehow his father's Zeus and his mother is, I don't know, somebody from, Delco. I don't know. I can't be sure. I can't call him on it. But I'm pretty sure this whole thing about him being from Cincinnati, nah, I don't think so. And apparently him and his brothers pronounce their name differently, right? Kelsey? Maybe they're not even related because Zeus is the real father of Jason Kelsey. These are all theories. Yet to be proven. But Jason Kelsey, when he ran out of the backfield, or excuse me, not out of the backfield, off the line of scrimmage to block downfield for Miles Sanders, and then Miles Sanders didn't take the out route. He cut it in instead. I'm watching Jason Kelsey run up the field, and I'm thinking, I remember this guy when he was a rookie doing this exact same thing at this exact same speed. And Jason Kelsey's out there doing the exact same. He's outrunning Miles Sanders. Now Miles Sanders a little bit of a different route, but who cares? Who's really watching that? And Jason Kelsey made it up the field to make a block that I think should have and could have very well, would have sprung Miles Sanders for a touchdown. They ended up getting a touchdown later in that same drive anyway, so no harm, no foul, I guess. But what I will say is that Miles Sanders definitely is not scoring that touchdown if he cuts in, and that's exactly what happened. But if he cuts it to the outside, I couldn't make out who it was, 34 for Washington. If he cuts that to the outside, then I think he at least slips that tackle because he was a little bit further upfield than the defensive back in that situation. So I still think Miles Sanders, with the way he was running in that game, with his speed, and he was full motor at that point, I don't think he's getting brought down from behind on that particular play. I think he is going into the end zone for 6 points on that particular play. Jason Kelsey looked amazing in that one. Overall, the offensive line had a couple of mistakes too. I talked about the turnovers, talked about the drops. The other thing you could also look at was the offensive line early in this game. Jordan Mailata, first off, Sua Opeta had a bad offensive holding call that brought back, I believe it was a 9-yard gain from Dallas Goedert. That was a bad break for the Eagles there. Then later in the game, they go for it on the 4th and 1 situation. The misdirection toss left to Jordan Howard. We hadn't seen that one before. All right, Nick Sirianni, I see what you were doing those last couple of days where you had 2 more days. You're drawing up some plays. So the little misdirection toss left to Jordan Howard. He got the first down, not so fast. Jordan Mailata called for the holding penalty. And it was unnecessary that he was holding because you already had the first down. But nonetheless, it was a penalty. That was a bad mistake for the offensive line. Opeta and Mailata, not a good start to the game. Ended up, again, like everybody else, righting the ship. So those are 2 other mistakes you can look at in this particular game. This is just the way Jonathan Gannon is going to be as a defensive coordinator. Although you could face a guy like Garrett Gilbert and force him into mistakes like you could against a guy like Daniel Jones, for instance, or you could against Zach Wilson, they chose not to do that. They chose to sit back and just wait for them to make the mistake. Gilbert really didn't do too much of that. You had a very controlled game plan. The Washington football team had a very controlled game plan. The Eagles had a controlled game plan in a sense for Jalen Hurts. It's simply that they were throwing the ball more so that he wasn't using that ankle as much. You heard after the game Nick Sirianni admit to that. That's the kind of way they wanted to play it because Jalen Hurts, his ankle wasn't at a point where they just wanted him to run all over the field, and you saw him get down a little quicker maybe than normal, all because of the ankle. I think that's what played into it. But if the Eagles played a somewhat controlled game in that regard, then Washington played this guy's our 7th-string quarterback, so we're going to just make sure he doesn't really hurt us today. And there was only one play that he almost hurt you, and that was on that failed screen pass that was almost intercepted. Turns out reviewed, it was not intercepted. But other than that, they kept everything really close to the goal, close to the line of scrimmage. There was the one deep ball to Terry McLaurin for 46 yards that Darius Slay was just a little late on turning around. He kind of gave a swat and a miss to try to break up that play, and McLaurin came down with it. And that was a play that kind of got things going in the right direction for the Washington football team. And then later in the game, everything was pretty much around the line of scrimmage. They converted on a 3rd and 15, got around the line of scrimmage before converting on the 4th and short. So that was an interesting play that played out. But ultimately, I was waiting for Jonathan Gannon to be a little bit more aggressive to force those mistakes. And I only saw it one time, and the Eagles actually ended up paying for it. And that was on I believe it was the 3rd and 15. Alex Singleton rushed through the B gap, if you will. And then you also had Avonte Maddox blitzing on the outside, and they weren't able to get home to the quarterback. He delivered a perfect pass, and they ended up getting the first down a play later. So that was a little bit of a rough sequence there for the Eagles. But again, not a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Fletcher Cox had one of his best games of the season. And Derek Gunn and I on the post-game show last night got into a heated argument. We disagreed about Fletcher Cox and whether or not this is one of his best games of the season. I say absolutely. Now, I say that while also acknowledging it's not like you have said, oh, this is one of his best games of the season. Let's look at all the great games Fletcher Cox has played in this year. Oh, look at all those great games. This Washington game's up there. No, there's like hardly any of those. There's no real great games that stick out from Fletcher Cox and make you go, that was a great game by Fletcher Cox. In the third quarter and the fourth quarter, when they needed the defensive line to step up, Fletcher Cox got a sack. Fletcher Cox had a quarterback pressure. Fletcher Cox had a QB hit. And it literally looked like he just punched Gilbert in the chest. He was able to get just enough pressure where he got into the backfield and it was just boom. And it just looked like right in the chest. And he ended up throwing an incompletion. And I was like, good play, Fletch. Way to be. Teron Jackson had a good play in this game where he was able to get to the quarterback a little bit, get some pressure there, tackle for loss. Josh Sweat got into the backfield a couple of different occasions, and Jannard Avery continues to be a pleasant surprise every once in a while. You know who I never saw in this game? Ryan Kerrigan. Okay. But Jannard Avery had a big play in the game late in the first half. Yeah, tackle for loss about midway through the second quarter, came up with a nice play. So overall, I am just very, very happy with the way the Eagles bounced back from adversity in this game. And the unfortunate thing is, yes, they look like a team that not only was coming off their bye week, but didn't really need another 2 days off. They looked like that. And then they also look like a team with a quarterback that was also shaking off some rust when it comes to not playing for 23 days after playing the entire season. So I can understand why there'd be some struggles. But the funny thing is, I know a lot of people that were texting me about Jalen Hurts earlier, get him out of there, Minshew and all that. Yeah. Jalen Hurts' first throw of the game, was it his first throw of the game? The Dallas Goedert throw? Went off the heel of a really good target who he hit in the hands. That's not on Jalen Hurts at all. And according to the broadcast, because you never saw the all-22 from it, Dallas Goedert had nothing in front of him. Nothing in front of him on that interception. And that's why you look at interceptions in the NFL and it's like, he threw 3 picks and maybe like 2 are his fault. Like interceptions for me, I equate a lot to goals in hockey if you're a goaltender. It's like if they scored 5 goals. Yeah, well, every single one of them was deflected. Or 3 of them, his own guy was standing in front of him. Something like that. Like a lot of times it can't be, it's not the goalie's fault. There's nothing you could do on particular plays if your teammate's hanging out to dry. If Dallas Goedert gets hit in the hand twice and once it bounces off his heel into the arms of the defensive back, how is that supposed to reflect poorly, and why should that reflect poorly on Jalen Hurts? It's like a true shooting percentage in basketball. It's like everything is not a dunk, basically. Yeah, that should be what a shooting percentage is, not a dunk percentage. That gives you a more accurate depiction on whether or not it is the quarterback's fault or not. That first turnover, not Jalen Hurts' fault. The second one, Jalen Hurts' fault. Let's jump into the locker room for a second here, folks. But first, let's talk about our good friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers and all that he does great in the Philadelphia area. Steven Singer, right now, Christmas, ladies and gentlemen, is Saturday. You have your present? How about this? Do you have the perfect present at the perfect price? Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. The other corner of 8th and Walnut. Do what I do, ladies and gentlemen. Trust Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. The man knows how to treat you like family. You're not just a customer. It's like your family at Steven Singer. So right now, they have Anita Diamond Stud Earrings available for purchase at IHateStevenSinger.com, or once again, the other corner of 8th and Walnut. And they also have an incredible deal going on right now with Steven Singer. Right now, they have a 100% trade-in guarantee. 100% trade-in guarantee. You get 100% towards your next purchase. So you can upgrade your diamonds, like Anita Diamond Stud Earrings that he's selling right now for under $270. You can trade them at any time and get that full price towards your next purchase at Steven Singer. How great is that? Go to IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. One place, one price. Steven Singer Jewelers. Without further ado, let's jump into the locker room and see what the good people of the Philadelphia Eagles had to say after last night's game. First off, I just want to show you what this was here. Rodney McLeod, after the game, tweeted this. Great win tonight. Philly, you showed up on a Tuesday night and had it rocking. Let's keep that same energy next Sunday when they host the New York Giants. So that was an example of a positive tweet. Now here's an example of a negative tweet. And say it ain't so there, Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders, after a career day, 131 yards on 18 carries, 17.3 average yards per carry. Say it ain't so. What is it? What the hell is this? Stop booing the players. We put our heart and soul into this. Everyone was happy. Players booed when you guys look like you weren't focused. And that's here's the thing. I would get into this conversation with you, Douglas, a lot about how like booing is the only thing we got as fans. Like we cheer and we boo. Boo is the only we could tweet you, but I think like even that's a little too specific. But booing is like I paid my money for this. I'm investing my money and my heart and soul into it as well. I'm losing money being here, and you're gonna play like this. You're not gonna focus against an inferior opponent. Get your you-know-what together. And like Miles Sanders, I'm a little surprised because Miles Sanders was obviously here with Malcolm Jenkins, and nobody got it better than Malcolm Jenkins. And maybe that's why Rodney McLeod handled it the way he did. Malcolm Jenkins, after the Eagles got booed at halftime, they got booed into the locker room at halftime of the game. They unfurled their Super Bowl champion banner. Malcolm Jenkins said after the game, yeah, I would have booed us too, man. And I like that. You know, keep us honest. Keep us going, man. I like that. That's the only way you should take it. So, booby, Sanders, don't take it that negative. Whenever a fan boos, I always say this, a player or a team should only take it as, yep, I know, we got to get our you-know-what together. That's it. That's it. It's not all of a sudden fans jumping off the bandwagon. No. They're on the bandwagon still and telling you how to drive. That's what's so great about Philadelphia fans. You got a bandwagon of them. They ain't going anywhere, and they're going to give you directions and be really adamant about you taking their way. Just like kind of Eagles fans were at the beginning of the season when we were like, run the damn ball. And they did run the ball, and they started winning games. 5-7? Okay. So I thought that was interesting from Miles Sanders. But let's jump into the locker room now. Here is Nick Sirianni just talking about what the attitude of the team was and what his attitude was when he was given the extra 2 days off to get ready for this Washington game.
Control what you can control. I felt like a couple of our practices, the Thursday and our Friday practice wasn't up to our standard. And so I looked at it as, hey, we got 2 extra days now to get it to our standard, and we practiced much better. Now I know it didn't reflect that in the opening moments of the game, but I was glad that we got that extra bit of practice to clean some things up. So, and again, if you spend all your time being upset about something you can't control, you're putting unnecessary energy in there. So we talked a lot about that, that we're a team about the process and getting a little bit better each day, and it gave us 2 extra days to get a little bit better. And so that's what we focused on instead of the things we couldn't control.
That's the attitude you have to take. I'm going to get 2 days out of this, another 2 days. Misdirection, left toss, Jordan Howard. Draw that up. Trying to draw the Washington football team offsides. Okay. On a 2-point conversion. Interesting. Darius Slay in the backfield. What? As your motion running back receiver? Okay. And was that Jalen Reagor that ended up taking that football for a couple of yards there, getting a nice little first down? I believe it was. So that was a really interesting tact by Nick Sirianni over the last couple of days to try to draw up something a little bit more creative. Control what you control. Just win, baby. Winning out obviously doesn't guarantee the Eagles make the playoffs because right now in the 6 and 7 playoff seeds in the NFC, you have the Vikings right ahead of the Eagles at 7 and 7, and then ahead of them you have the San Francisco 49ers. At 8 and 6 now, I believe. So it's a tough road ahead. The Vikings have the Bears to end the season, but before that, they got to face the Rams at home, and then they got to go to Lambeau to face the Packers. So those are 2 tough games against 2 tough teams. The Eagles have the easiest road ahead, and the Eagles are the team that should make the playoffs. It should be the 49ers and the Eagles as wild card teams as your 6 and 7 spots in the NFC. That's what should happen. if everything goes according to plan, not even our plan, just to go according to odds, the Eagles should be a playoff team in the NFC. And we got into this question I asked this question on the postgame show. To this point, 7-7, have the Eagles overachieved or underachieved? To this point. And I honestly think they've overachieved. They are right there in the playoff hunt. It's almost Christmas. In a 18-week season, they are right there in the thick of it. And they are one team really ahead of them in that final spot, and that's Minnesota. They take care of it. The Eagles take care of business like they should against the Giants on Sunday. You might be facing Jake Fromm. All right. And then you got the Washington football team again. This time you're going down there. And then they got Dallas, and hopefully that game means nothing at the end of the season. Except to the Eagles. It means nothing to Dallas, hopefully. Well, then the Eagles have a great shot at making the playoffs, and quite frankly should make the playoffs. Now I'll just hope the Vikings suck against the Rams, and who got their offense back on track, and then obviously suck at Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. So we'll cross our fingers for that. That's not all from Nick Sirianni after the game. He also wanted to talk about his quarterback, Jalen Hurts, who came up with a 20 for 26 day, 296-yard touchdown and an interception. He also ran for another 2 scores, so a 3-touchdown day by the Eagles quarterback. Here is Nick Sirianni talking about Jalen Hurts' game.
The ball was going where it was supposed to go. When he needed to run, he ran. The ball was accurate, and it wasn't. My college coach always would teach me that, or taught me that, like in a little bit of that drizzle, right, and when the field's a little bit wet like that, that's a great day to pass. And here's why. I know that's kind of opposite, but the defensive line rush slows down because of the ground is wet. The wide receivers know when they're breaking, the tight ends know when they're breaking, the defensive backs don't. And so the fact that he handled that wet ball too, now it just takes a little bit more concentration to catch the ball and throw the ball. And but he did an unbelievable job in some weather that required it.
There you go. They overcame the weather. He overcame struggles and put the ball where it needed to go, especially in that second half. Now the interesting thing was the cameras caught Nick Sirianni kind of chewing out Jalen Hurts as he was walking off the field after the fumble. And Nick Sirianni kind of had an expression on his face of like, what the hell was that? And we really haven't seen too much of that from an Eagles head coach over the last 20 years. Nick Sirianni was flat out in the face of Jalen Hurts. Cameras caught it. I was wondering how Jalen Hurts was going to respond, and he responded very well. Jeff McClain of the Inquirer asked Nick Sirianni about that, yelling at Jalen after the fumble.
Jalen and I are used to get. Jalen's dad coached him hard. My dad coached me hard. And so I think Jalen responds to tough coaching. He likes tough coaching. And I wasn't going to back down on him. I thought he was careless with the football. And I let him know that. And we're just honest with each other. And so, sometimes it comes off as just, that we're just talking through it. And sometimes I got to deliver the message a little bit different. But what a great job by him having that mentality just to he had 2 turnovers early, and the first one's not his fault. So he played a great football game today, one of the best football games I've seen him play. And so what an unbelievable job by him of what he say, flush it. Don't look at it, flush it, and then move on. So awesome job by him. And when you have a relationship, you have a good relationship with your quarterback, you're able to have those tough conversations like that. And we moved on, and he played a great game for me.
The whole just flush it thing is something that will live in infamy, in my brain at least. Just don't look at it. Don't sit there and look. You flush it. That's what I handle that. Jalen Hurts certainly did a good job of flushing that as the game went on. It's funny. I mentioned before Dallas Goedert had 2 bad drops. One obviously was the interception, and the other one was later in the game. I believe it was a 3rd down play in the 3rd quarter. But the throw that I really thought kind of got things clicking again for Jalen Hurts wasn't even the Goddard winning the battle, because I think that was more on the receiver making a play for his quarterback. But I thought the play that really kind of got him going was a little lob to Jalen Reagor that went for a couple of yards, but he had pressure in his face, and he just kind of literally, it was like rookie of the year floater. You know what I'm saying? Just a little eephus pitch, a little floater over the defensive lineman into the hands of Jalen Reagor, who got you a couple of yards. And it was like he had a good feel for the game after that. And he had a couple of rushing touchdowns after that. One, I believe, was on that drive, as a matter of fact, where they tied it up at 10-10. And then they came out in the second half. That's where Miles Sanders had the really big run where he was following Jason Kelsey, then stopped, cut it on the inside. Jalen Hurts had another touchdown there, made it 17-10. And really, the Eagles, they had the game from that point on. You never felt like from that point on they were going to lose. You felt like they had control. Even when they cut it close, when they made it a 20-17 game, you still felt like the Eagles will come back. They'll get something done here. Maybe they won't cover, which I had them at 6.5 last night. Way to go, Eagles. And they did just that. They came back on the very next drive after they lost a little bit of that lead and made it 20-17. They came right back with that touchdown throw to Greg Ward. And as I mentioned earlier, you had Stahl, you had Rager, and you had Ward come up with some big plays on that drive. So that was great as well. Jalen Hurts himself was asked about this game and what it means to this team to now be back at 500 and still very much in the thick of things in the playoff hunt. Here's Jalen Hurts.
I think it was very fun being back on the field. Being back on the field, getting a win in which we needed. First division win for this football team this year. Can come at a better time, and I know we're back at 500 for the first time this year. It's a big deal, but I know that the job isn't done. The job isn't done. Nowhere near from done. We know what we want to accomplish. I said it to the guys. You just have to have that mentality of not being denied. Not being denied. And I've said all year, everybody's seen all year the youth of this football team and the youth we've had and the different things we've overcome and had the experience with the different nuances of having knew everything. But right now, in December, we can't be denied of what we want. So with all the adversity we had this week, with all the adversity we had today early in the game, we didn't let it affect us.
It didn't let you affect you even a little bit today. Going into the game and the way the game started. Again, I can't go back to it enough. You had the feeling. Tell me if you didn't have this feeling, God bless you. But if you didn't have the feeling of, oh my God, Joe Webb game, Tuesday night, oh my God, turnovers, it's going to be that kind of game. If you didn't have that feeling in the very early goings when the Eagles were down 10-0 to a Washington football team quarterbacked by Gilbert, then I don't know, then you have all the faith in the world. You are one confident person. I was getting ready for face palms, man. I was getting ready for face palms. I already did a couple of them, as a matter of fact, but they responded to it, and that really showed me a lot. Jalen Hurts is the quarterback of this team for the rest of the season, is the quarterback of this team going into next year. I thought the worst-case scenario was Jalen Hurts struggles, Gardner Minshew comes in, plays well, loses the next game, then you go back to Jalen Hurts, and then going into the offseason, going into next year, you have a quarterback competition for realsies between Gardner Minshew and Jalen Hurts. Turns out that's not going to be the case. Jalen Hurts is doing everything he can right now to solidify not just his spot for the rest of the season, because I already believe he's done that, but also solidify his spot for next year being the starting quarterback of this football team. And then hopefully after that, proving he could be a decade-long quarterback in the NFL for a franchise. And you know what we call that? We call that a franchise quarterback. I even saw Skip Bayless took to Twitter talk about how Jalen Hurts is a baller. Huh? Skip Bayless is saying it. You know it's true, right? Okay. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, this is something amazing. Dallas Goedert, I can't say it enough, had 2 drops. But you know what else he had? 135 yards on 7 catches, including that 45-yard reception that he jumped up and got for Jalen Hurts. And after the game, felt it was necessary to come out as Buddy the Elf. Here's Dallas Goedert postgame.
One as well.
No, and that's my fault. I ordered this without telling him. He's a little upset at me, but I didn't think he'd want to be Santa Claus or the other girl in the show, so I had to take it myself.
So he didn't want him to be Ed Asner or Zooey Deschanel. I think he's got Avonte Maddox pretty well pegged. His roommate, his longtime roommate and buddy, Avonte Maddox. The other question there was from John McMullen saying, did you get one for Avonte Maddox? And he said, no, I wanted to be the elf, and he could either be Santa or Zooey Deschanel. Brilliant. Elf is a phenomenal movie. Avonte Maddox already responded. One more tweet to go to. Here you go. Avonte Maddox tweeting out here. Yeah, he can't talk to me for 24 hours. He better stay in his room. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Bottom line, folks, 27-17, Eagles get the victory. Still in the thick of the playoff hunt, as far as I'm concerned, should still make the playoffs. Let me tell you about that. Rothman Orthopaedics, the great people at Rothman Orthopaedics brought us that locker room report. Let me tell you about Rothman Orthopaedics, how great they are. First off, yesterday, I said I was going to tweet out something. I did not do it. I didn't do it for a specific reason. I'll tell you right now. Adam Silver was going to address the media. And by the media, I mean Malika Andrews of ESPN. Hello. And Adam Silver said that I was waiting to see if he was going to say that they were going to postpone the season, if they were going to pause the season. And what I had to tweet about has to do with courtside Sixers tickets. So I didn't want to tweet it. And then all of a sudden, oh, yeah, by the way, that's not happening because there's no season right now. I thought that would be ill-timed. So, and then it was close to the Eagles game, so I didn't want to get lost in the fold. So today, I will be tweeting out a podcast I did with Rothman Orthopaedics, along with Dr. Stash and their awesome marketing person, Alex. She did a great job hosting this podcast. I was a guest host for Weekend Warriors. We will tell you how you can win Sixers courtside tickets. Sixers Clippers, folks. How awesome is that? So make sure you guys pay attention to that on my social media accounts. All it takes is a couple of follows, as a matter of fact, and you might just find yourself courtside for Clippers, Sixers. But let me tell you a little bit more about Rothman Orthopaedics and how great they are. When back pain has you down, when even the idea of stairs seem impossible, when your joints are keeping you from doing what you love, you need the world-class experts of Rothman Orthopaedics. You need the orthopedic approach by Rothman. The Rothman approach to orthopedics. It's here to get you back to moving freely and living fully. And why is all that possible? Because Rothman is just that good. So you can be what you were. You can have the same day appointments available right now as they are, and you can start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopaedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. How about the people at BetQL? They told me last night, take the 6.5 with the Eagles. They got this. BetQL was right. Go figure. When you download the BetQL app, it's the only app you'll need to make the smart bets. Their best bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports, and they give you the reasoning behind why you should place that bet. Their model covers everything from spreads, over-unders, player props, and if you don't want to use their model and prefer to do your own research, BetQL has all the necessary tools for your betting research needs. Everything from sharp data, line movement, team summaries, lineups, injuries, breaking news, even a leaderboard for you to track your own success. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now to download the BetQL app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. So make sure you follow PHL Sports Nation. .com. How about the people of Windview, the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all? Who is the biggest sports fan? If you have those friends and family members that you're going to see over the holiday, I think they know everything. See if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. Challenge into a Windview contest and see how they do. See if you can win some real money prizes through Windview. It's not daily fantasy. It's not a sports book. It's a social gaming app where fans can take on other fans to win some cashola. So download the Windview app right now. Now it's time for our chat check. I saw some of you chatters, T-Bro, for instance, getting involved in the post-game show with myself, Devin Caney, Derek Gunn, over at Jacob Media and 6abc.com. Appreciate that. Sean, Fars Nation, stand up. Yes, please. Kevin, happy Victory Wednesday to you. Eric, good morning. Sean, good morning. And everybody, Weather Girl would have helped last night, Farzy. Sorry, Luigi. Sorry. Brett, Tuesday night win vibes. That's what it feels like. It is really weird, the Tuesday night game. Really weird. I have a really weird feeling when it happens, and I hope it never happens again. And it's not just because of Joe Webb. It's like you have that, sometimes during the week, you're like, wait, what day is it? Oh, it's Tuesday? Oh, it felt like a Thursday. Like, rarely does that happen, but when it does, it's just gross to realize that, no, you still got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday before the weekend really hits. So that sucks. But Brett, hello, good morning. Mopar, good morning to you. Mopar, a big Cecily Tynan thumbs up for the game last night. April, what's going on? Yeah, that throw was terrible. You're damn right it was terrible. Fuji, what's going on? Victory Wednesday. Happy hump day. To all, and good morning. All Mark, good morning to you as well. Brett, good morning again. Mally, what's popping, brother? Nice to see you. Sean, Rager. I had to get my sleep, could only check the highlights. Amazing. Leave it to Jalen Reagor to exercise the demons of Joe Webb. John Cheeseborough, where are you at? Ragerisms. I think John's joining us later in the chat. Mac, winning vibes. Absolutely. Sanchez, so annoying to listen to. He wouldn't be quiet. April, I'll edit that. I got to be honest. He was a little all over the place. I didn't mind him so much, though. And look, I'm the worst when it comes to broadcasters. That's funny. That's a funny sentence. I'm the worst when it comes to listening to broadcasters during a game. You got to be really god-awful terrible for me to go, what the hell is this guy talking about? He told the story about Harold Carmichael critiquing other people's signatures, and then he looked on the field and saw Harold Carmichael's signature on the field, and he was like, oh, Harold, what's with your signature? And that was that was too long for that point in the game where I think it was the Eagles about to snap the football, so that was weird. But overall, I thought he was okay. He didn't annoy the hell out of me. I'll give him that. He was all right. But I know I do not share that same opinion with most. Most thought he was god-awful terrible. You know how I know that? Twitter. It's in my chat here. You guys are awesome. John Cheeseborough, you just woke up and you have arrived. What's happening there? Mally, there's Mally. Marc Sanchez is bad. Rex Ryan has a tattoo of Marc Sanchez. Need to discuss that more. Mac, is that accurate? I don't remember that. It's not on his foot, is it? Gross. T-Bro. T-Bro is a fan of Devin Caney. Aren't we all? She is awesome. Luigi. Wait, why would you want me to wig? I had to do that once for a radio bit where they gave me the fake hair. It was like not a Just for Men. What is it? Hair Club for Men? Yeah. No, this is me. Me for the rest of my life, folks. Bald bastard. Scusi. Mopar, any doubt that Jason Kelce is a bona fide Hall of Famer? None. Super Bowl champion, multi-time Pro Bowl. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Kelce is God, not a demigod. Mally, you're correct. April, Mopar, no question. Jason Kelce is a Hall of Famer. John Cheeseborough, Mopar, good day. Jason Kelce is the greatest center to ever play the game, hands down. All right. Farzy post-game show last night was fire. T-Bro, I appreciate you joining us. Julian, what's up, Julian? Nice to have you. Julian, Jason Kelce, Zach Ertz, and maybe Malcolm Jenkins as Hall of Famers. It's possible. Definitely possible. John Cheeseborough. See, okay, I didn't notice this. You could tell the announcers were trying not to acknowledge Jalen Reagor being booed whenever he stepped on the field. Wow. We've started the Reagorisms. Jalen Reagor is as useful as Mike Sealski. April. Yeah, I only caught the first half. An hour of the post game this week has been exhausting. Christmas, man. Christmas. By the way, here's the deal, folks. I need some help here in the chat, and I'll get to this right now. I got a cousin of mine who is visiting from London. She actually, if you remember, maybe you caught this once, when the Eagles played in London, I had her on my radio show just to say what was the vibe like. She's American, and she moved over to London a couple of years ago. And since then, she's gotten engaged. She's had a baby and all that. And she's in the States right now. I'm supposed to go see her later today. And at the last minute, she just said, hey, can everybody get tested? Because we can't get stuck in the U.S. We got to go back to London. And I was like, I was just at the pharmacy, as I told you guys, getting my shot, getting my booster. And it was, I don't know how many people, it was at least 15 people in the half hour I was at the pharmacy of everyone coming in just be like, hey, do you have COVID tests? Do you have COVID? No, we don't have COVID tests. Do you have at-home kits? Do you have take-home kits? No. Like, nobody had them. So I knew it was going to be a struggle. We've been looking over. We've been calling places. We've gone. They haven't been in, or they've been out of stock by the time we get there. Is there any place that you guys know of that has a COVID test? Like, spitballing ideas here with you. Just let me know. Jalen Reagor is like Heinz ketchup packet in an empty Krispy Kreme box. The hell? I'm sorry, but Sanders is Mopar. This might be the greatest thing you've said in our chat. Sanders has Urkel legs. He cannot fight through tackles. Howard, on the other hand, has concrete for legs. Hard to bring him down. Not going to say you're wrong. Sirianni is the guy turning into a pretty good play caller so far. Yeah, he is. Reagor performed. This is from Mac. Reagor kind of performed well last night, but still subject to Reagorisms. It's the rules. Love Reagorism, says Julian. Let's say Jalen Reagor is Jalen Reagor is like using Febreze at a landfill. John, this is all good stuff. Wait, ketchup versus Krispy Kreme. Just puked. I'm not far off. Jalen Reagor is like bunting when you're down 12 runs. John, beautiful. Wait, Mac, is this real? I love ketchup on Krispy Kreme. Is this a thing? Because I'm not one that judges somebody else for the way they eat, but that does sound horrific. I will just say that. Jalen Reagor is like bringing your own benches to a road game. Serious question. What happens when hand warmers expire? I think they just burst into flames. Did Farzy crush his checkers post game? No, you know, it's funny. My wife brought me down, what do you call it? The cinnamon rolls. She's like, hey, do you want a cinnamon roll? And I'm like, no, God, no. See, I've been making the ravioli. I've been making the lobster ravioli this week because I'm trying to get it just right for 7 fish. So I've been crushing carbs more than I normally do. So I feel a little chunky. And my wife came down and she was like, hey, do you want a cinnamon roll? I'm like, no, I got to be health conscious or whatever. And I said, by the way, can you run to Checkers and get me a big Buford burger? And she looked at me like, I go, Toots, I'm kidding over here. Anyway, that's the story of my life. Wait, Reagor is like a Farzy jump shot. Now you hold the hell on, Mally. But side note, Marc Sanchez had a lot of word vomit last night. There were times when I wish he would just stop talking. Fair enough. Shots fired. But Marc wouldn't tell us. Marc wouldn't tell you what. He talked way too much. Wait, is that Marc Sanchez you're talking about? I don't even want to go there. Anything that starts off with grabbing Marc Sanchez by the ankles, I'm done. Reagor is like, don't make me do it, Mally. Don't make me do it. Reagor is like a twerking penguin when the batteries die. Oh, you know what? Let me check the batteries real quick. I mean, while we're here, I don't want to be rude. Okay. Batteries still work. Can't wait to use that into March. Eagles, remember they can play football. Brendan, you're absolutely right. Jalen Reagor is as useful as Derek Barnett. Did you see Derek Barnett get blocked by Gilbert last night? Oh, that was a classic. A lot of Reagorisms. These are all good. I'm watching the beginning, buddy. No. Alex, what's up, Alex? Nice to have you. Dante, what's up, Dante? Nice to have you. Sean, hello again. See if we got anything else. Mike Glennon is part human. Let me tell you, I'm here for all the Mike Glennon has a very long neck gifs and memes. I find them to be hilarious. Lester, good morning. Minshew will be traded. Andrew, I think that's the most likely scenario, especially if the Eagles, if Jalen Reagor or Jalen Hurts, geez, God forbid, if Jalen Hurts continues to play the way that he played in the second half of this game in particular. You got, wow, this chat is fire today. Lester, joints are never keeping Farzy from doing what he loves. Joints are what Marc loves. It's a different way. I've called the pharmacies, April, and I've just had no luck, unfortunately. Yeah, I like little ketchup on a Krispy Kreme. So what? Hey, you do you. I just think that sounds really weird. Sean, I love that penguin in strictly a platonic way, though. How come I feel like this chat at the Wing Bowl would be would be out of control? Sal, there's nothing at Wing Bowl that's in control. PJ has footsie pajamas. Oh, you guys. You're British, Mark? No, I am not at all British. I went over there to London to visit my my cousin some years ago. And let me tell you, when I was in London, my first thought was, could have just gone to New York. And then the start of the second afternoon I was there, it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and middle of the week, basically. And I went to a pub. My wife had to work. I tagged along on her business trip. And I went to a pub, and I had a couple of beers. Let me have a couple of beers, and I'll walk around London. Great plan. Go see the Tower of London, which I did. It was awesome. And there's these businessmen, and I'm not kidding you, I maybe had 3 beers at most. These guys at the time I was there had 6, and they were there before me. And their conversation at the bar ended with, okay, these are all great ideas. Let's go back to the office and hash this out. And I'm like, these guys literally just had at least 7 beers, and now they're going, like, each, and now they're going back to the office to hash it out. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, I get into London now. I get it. They're just booze hounds. That's fine. And I loved it from that point on. Had a really good time. And a lot of people say, oh, the food's terrible. The food's great. Like, I hate to inform people. People are a lot more well-traveled than they were 20 years ago. So food, the food there is a lot better. Mally, thank you. Mark talks way too much with his hands to be British. Yes, these are how the Brits talk. Yeah, so there you go. Thanks, everyone, that participated in the chat. You guys are fantastic, as per usual. Thanks, everyone who took part in our chat check. Let's move on to our morning rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. As I alluded to earlier in the program, Adam Silver addressed the media, the one media person yesterday, Malika Andrews of ESPN, on NBA Today. And Adam Silver said there are no plans to pause the season regardless of the Omicron variant. Omicron. Okay. What I thought was more controversial, if you will, was later in the interview. He was like, I really struggle to find the logic behind pausing the season. And then went so far as to say this is just something that we're going to have to learn to live with. And he's right. And I think we do that by getting vaccinated. And that's why I did it, because I thought it was the right thing to do for me, for my family, and for my community. There's your public service announcement right there. But I don't think he's wrong, and that this is something that we're going to have to live with for quite a while. Probably the new norm, if you will, where this is just part of did you get your flu shot? Do you get your coronavirus shot, the COVID shot, whatever you want to call it? This will be part of it. Did you get your booster? This has become a part of life. I was a little surprised to hear him be so bold, but then in his logic, what's the other side of it? No, we're going to shut everything down again. It's up to us to mask up, and he said that. It's up to us to get vaccinated. It's up to us to get our boosters, and hopefully as a society, we can rid ourselves of it. Because the last thing I want to do here, and I've been talking to some of my friends around the city, their offices are getting shut down again. That's the last thing I want to see. Especially around the holiday season. The NHL is taking their planned holiday break now. They also canceled the Flyers last night. We told you the Flyers were going to play the Capitals last night. That ended up getting postponed for a later date, so that's not happening now. They take the Christmas break early, the holiday break early, and that's where we're at right now. And things are not exactly trending in the right direction. So make sure you wear your mask, get vaccinated, go out there and make sure you're taking care of your community as best as possible, and yourself, for that matter, as best as possible. So that's where we're at right now. And to hear the commissioner talk about it so frankly, I'm like, well, damn, he's right. They're not going to go to mandates just yet for players. Kyrie Irving's continued to fight this. For me, I'm just really hoping that we can nip this in the butt a lot sooner rather than later. Because this thing it's unfortunately No joke. It's in terms of it being around. Omicron, as far as for the vaccinated people, when you look at it, you look at the numbers, and look, what can you tell from numbers? But it looks like it definitely trends in the right direction for people that are vaccinated. So at least there's that. Hopefully we're off to a better start than we were the last time we went through something like this, which was like 20 minutes ago. So hopefully we learn from mistakes. But yeah, Flyers canceled last night. We'll see when they get back in action after the holiday break. Sixers back in action tomorrow night, Thursday night against the Atlanta Hawks. Right now, Trae Young still in COVID protocol, so we'll see what happens in that particular game. Ladies and gentlemen, had an absolute blast. John Cheeseborough, all the... All right, sorry, I thought that said Walgreens. It said weigh-ins. I don't know what's happening. Anyway. Al, thanks for asking. Right now we're planning on... we're doing the show tomorrow, and then no show Christmas Eve, and then the Christmas is Saturday anyway, but I'll be back with you guys on Monday. So really, Friday... Christmas Eve is the only day that we won't be doing our regular show. All right, we might take some time off. It might be me running the show. Maybe not. We'll see what we'll talk to everybody. We don't really prepare much when it comes to planning and scheduling here at the Farzy Show, unfortunately, and that's on me. I got to do a better job of scheduling. But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hey, guess what? Bonus me today again. I'll be on the Fox 29 with Karen Hepp. Mike Jarrett's off today. Karen Hepp and Alex Holly. I'll be back talking about the Eagles at 7:45 on Fox 29. Good day, Philadelphia. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Go Birds! Staying in playoff contention behind a great performance from Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, and Jalen Hurts and the entire Eagles offensive line. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Jim Hyden produced the show. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok because we're really cool and stuff, kids. Follow us on TikTok. Have a great rest of your show from the rest of your day from the Steven Singer Studios. I'm Marc Farzetta. Have a good one, everybody.